Hello everyone, this is Anshul Goyal. I am an assistant professor serving in SOD, School of Design. And as an assistant professor in industrial design, today I'm taking a topic on creative and critical design through innovation. That's the topic which I'll be taking through in my industrial design course. And that is predominantly, it's not only for design, it's actually a combination of design, engineering, and various other domains. So first, what is design thinking? What is an innovation? So every design or every process needs a particular thinking, and why we need this design process, why this particular thinking is necessary, and how it's going to be an interpretation through an innovation that we are going to learn. So the main learning is design thinking. 5 stages of design thinking, design and innovation. What could be the 7 C's or 7 concerns of innovation? And we are learning through a case study to it. So to begin with, what is design thinking? A design thinking, it's a methodology that provides a solution-based approach to solving problems. So when we consider design thinking, there is a proper problem to it, a problem cause to it, a proper readable things in which we can going to start our own thing, are going to be our initial point to it. So that is how we are going to proceed it through a design thinking process. So design thinking, it's a methodology where we have a problem and it's a process to give or to conclude to a solution. So that is the process which we follow is called as design thinking, and the process is called as design process. So it's extremely useful when used to tackle complex problems that are ill-defined or unknown. So we have a lot of problems and we have a design tangible options to it. Sometimes it's tangible, sometimes it's intangible. So we have a proper thinking to it, we have a proper process to it. And that process is called as design process, and so the entire process is called as design thinking. So why it is necessary, why it is there in our lives, why we need to study this? So because it serves to understand the human needs involved, it's reframing the problem into a human-centric ways. It creates a numerous ideas and brainstorming sessions, adopt a hands-on approach to prototyping and testing. Since design thinking process it's very lengthy, yet it is a non-linear and an iterative process. So we are considering we are further reading onto this particular design thinking, and we are focusing on the 5-stage design thinking model which has been proposed by the Hasso-Plattner Institute of Design at Stanford. So 5 stages of design thinking. What are 5 stages of design thinking? The first thing is to empathize. Research your user needs. So when a designer, when a particular user is empathizing to a proper design, the first initial elementary stage is called as the empathizing stage. Second is the define. State your users' need and problems. Third, we have an ideate, challenge assumptions and create ideas. Fourth, we have a prototyping, to start to create solution. And last is test, try your solutions out. So we have 5 processes, 5 stages of design thinking, which we have to consider them while we created tangible or intangible options to it. So this is how a complete process is going to be dependent to it. The first to second, second to third, third to fourth, and fourth to fifth. That is why they are very essential in our 5-stage developments. So first we have an empathizing, in which it helps to define the problem, which is going to help which is going to be as the drifting stage to the second stage. Then this is how a circulation pattern looks like, in which we have a learning about this users through testing, in which test creates new ideas for a project, a prototype sparks a new idea, how it's going to be a dependable stage to it, and this is the test reveal insights that redefine the problem. So again, design thinking, it's an iterative, non-linear process that focuses on a collaboration between designers and users. It brings innovative solutions to life based on how real users think, feel, and behave. So another model which has been proposed by a standard design school thinking design process, in which we are having all these 5 stages. But what are those 5 stages? We need to learn that first. So first is an empathize, in which there are interviews, there are shadowing, there are seek to understand, and there are non-judgmental also. So something which is going to be as a primarily research, we are going to be empathizing onto that, ki what could be the proper design feel to it. Second, we have a defining, in which we have a personas, we have a role of objectives, decisions, challenges, plan points. So we have a proper SWOT analysis in that particular defining a problem, in defining a design thinking stage. Third, we have an ideate, in which we are having a sharing ideas, all ideas which are completely worthy, diverge and converge that ideas, because there are plethora of ideas and we need to funnel them down. Fourth is yes and thinking. So sometimes we have to go for yes, sometimes we have to go for no. So what are the do's, what are the pros of a particular design? We are going to challenge that and we are going to take that forward. Last is the prioritize. So we are going to prioritize our design problems. We are going to prioritize what could be the design thinking which we are going to forward it to. Then comes the prototype, where we are actually having a mock-ups, storyboards. We are keeping it very simple, so because it's not going to be handled in that final stages, because complex designs or complex problems, they are going to be another challenge to us. Then we have a fail fast, because here we are going to test that user studies, we are going to test about how things are going to be proceeded in that particular manner, because there could be a possible fail test. Then how we are going to iterate it. So again, it's going to be a challenge. A challenge for how manufacturers or different domain people would be helping them to complete a model. So that could be the particular mock-up for it. Then last is the testing, in which we are understanding the impediments, what works, the role plays, and iterate quickly. So test is the last stage of design thinking, where we understand the impediments, what could be the working stage to it, how it's going to be work, how it's going to be the field test, how it's going to be the relevant stage, because that is the last stage. What could be the role plays, and how we are going to iterate it, because it's again going to be a challenge for manufacturers, how to manufacture them. So everything could be compiled in the particular manner. So these 5 stages would be a small package in which your design has to be placed to your shelves. Now we come to the design and innovation, which has been guided by Professor B.K. Chakravarti of IDC IIT Bombay. He has been into this design by innovation module, in which he will be taking through various case studies, in which I have taken inferences and I'll be keeping in front of you what could be the innovation and how a case study is going to help that. What could be the 7 C's and 7 Chakkus which has been introduced by him. So design and innovation. Design can play a key role in the world of innovation. So it is the process that follows the path of design thinking, from empathizing with the need to finding a solution that benefits a large number of users. So again, empathizing to a user, empathizing to a design product is a bigger thing, which a user or which a designer has to take care every time. Then ideas are translated into solutions that impact a larger number of users. So we can't design something which is not catering to only a small community. It has to be a larger number of users for which it is to be designed. Then innovation is the combination of scale and reach of people. So it also depends on what could be the particular scale for the problem, how you're going to reach to it, and what could be the possible users who are using it. Fourth is the innovation works through multiple processes and draws several skill sets. So designing doesn't mean that to a particular designer having a particular amount of skill set will be working on this. So when a designer works on a problem, it has, or he or she has, a big skill sets in which he has to or she has to work on it. it needs to collaborate with various stakeholders, so multiple teams work together to converge ideas and innovation is done. So we at some point of times, at some junctions, we need literally different manufacturers with different stakeholders to come and to join hands in making the design process complete. That is how design thinking also works with different level of minds. To have a problem, when you have a problem, you will be having a different set of users. So what could be the users? So we have a primary user, users who are getting problems and using the product. Those are the primary users. Secondary users, people who are going to order them or who are going to use it secondarily. Tertiary users are the manufacturers or the stakeholders who will be joining hands later on, who will be in the back part of it. The 7 C's of innovation, or which is being called as the 7 Chakkus of innovation or 7 concerns of innovation. So we have a particular 7 set of concerns with which we'll be using it for an innovation process. For a design innovation, we need all these things. So first is the cause, second the context, third would be the comprehension, fourth C would be the check, fifth C would be the conception, sixth C would be the crafting, and seventh C would be the connection to it. Later on, we'll be studying it through a case study that could be a greater example, or that could be the greater understanding for everyone who will be seeing this 7 concerns or will be using it. So the 7 concerns of innovation. Cause. What is cause? Cause, it's a creative way to solve a problem or to feel the problem. Second is the context, understanding the user and the scenario. Third would be the comprehension, arriving at design insights based on their design intervention. So we do have some kind of design insights, we do follow some guidelines also. So understanding at this particular stage, that could be an initial help for everyone. The check, marking blueprint of the design or the checkpoints. So while we are designing, sometimes we feel that after some point of time we are a bit deflected by a path. So that particular checkpoints are going to help us to be in that path again. Then comes the conception, creating multiple ideas and concepts. There are different ideologies, there are different thinkings which are going to work on, and through how we are going to conceptualize them. Then comes the crafting, where we are having mock-ups, rigs, functional prototypes and pilot productions. So there we are actually making our product. So how it's going to be aesthetically or functionally, how it's going to be work like, there comes in crafting. Then comes the connection, in which getting back to the user, testing and feedback. So at the end, when we have a complete model, when we have a complete product, we should have that what could be the user testing, how it's going to be working. Then there is a sunflower model of innovation. See, what happens is when a designer works or when a user works, it has a different kind of tendencies to reach on to a different stakeholders. So what all things would be working, that could be beautifully executed through the sunflower model of innovation, in which different things like research, technology, manufacturing, finance, design, marketing, distribution, strategic management, people and services works together. So this particular sunflower model of innovation, that could be helpful for you all to guess that how different stakeholders or different people, they join their hands to come to a success of a particular product. That is how we are going to innovate, and that is how everyone is going to start with their design journey or design thinking. Then comes the what all possible lives, death, what could be the valleys, what could be the possible do's, or what could be the possible jump points where you can see that you might fail that. So that fail points, that fail paths would be there in that sense. So first we have a design in which we will start with our mock-up. The first pitfalls would be there when you craft a product, when there would be a prototyping stage. So if it's going to be a working prototyping stage, if it doesn't work, it will fall into the first pitfall. If it works, it will go ahead with the second pitfall, where we'll be heading towards the pilot production. So for pilot production, we'll be having a complete functional working prototype, and we have a certain set of numbers to that also, ki how that pilot production would be successful. If it's successful, then we'll be going ahead. If it's not, it's going to be in the second pitfalls. The third would be the final production, in which we have a bulk quantity, in which manufacturers and different stakeholders will be working together to make this a final thing where we'll be getting this success. That could be the manufacturing process. That if you forward with that, we'll go with the mass manufacturing. That is the complete success of a product. If we don't, we'll fall into this third pitfall. You can see that when we go ahead with our process, you can see that their pitfalls are also getting deeper and deeper. That is how a design thinking and design process works. As soon as you project it forward, you'll see that the pitfalls or the valleys of death are going deeper and deeper. So let's understand everything, let's compact everything, let's combine everything through a case study in which there's a Palki design of Ajanta and Vaishno Devi Palkis. We can see that how these case studies and how these 7 C's of innovation, how design thinking works together simultaneously when we design a particular product. So when it compares to Ajanta or Ellora caves, you can see that there is a particular terrain which follows. And for people or for age-old people, they generally don't comfort themselves in carrying forward. So they need Palki. So that particular Palki has this kind of structure in which 4 people would be supporting a particular chair, or which is to be handled on shoulders. So this is how a particular structure looks like. So already IDC has divided themselves into groups, and they have been into this craft documentation, or maybe so IDC has already developed themselves into groups, and they have divided themselves. This could be the particular process, this would be the particular thing, and that is how the solution would look like. So this would be the possible solution to it, and this is how people are going to use that. There is a different set of terrains when we compare with Ajanta, Ellora and Vaishno Devi. So the first thing is the cause. The cause is a lightweight durable park. So when I compare with Ajanta, Ellora and Vaishno Devi, the number of population or the people who are going to visit Ajanta, Ellora and Vaishno Devi or these places, the main problem is the number of population, and second is the terrain. So nearly 1000 to 1500 porters are there in Katra region in Jammu, and all of their livelihoods are depending only on these jobs. So when there would be a large number of population or large number of people are going to visit this pilgrimage, there would be a different set of people who are helping them, and their number is also very high, that is 2000 to 1500. So when IDC divided themselves and they have originated an idea of carrying an Ajanta Ellora Caves Palki, so this would be the existing and this could be the proper redesign format to it. So they have redesigned themselves. For Vaishno Devi, you can see that the pattern arrangement of people, there are also 4 people, but the arrangement is rectangular in Ajanta and linear or maybe in a straight line in Vaishno Devi. Then comes the context. So what could be the existing problems of Vaishno Devi Palkis? The users and terrain. So main level of users, first is the porters, pilgrims, shrine board and local manufacturers. So you can divide themselves what could be the primary and what could be the secondary users and what could be the tertiary users who are using that. So we all start pinpointing or start checking our checklist also simultaneously what could be the possible level of users. So you can see that and I've already mentioned that there are number of people who are using to or who are going to pilgrimage, and second is the terrain. Then comes the comprehension. In the comprehension part, we'll be going for a design insights. The grips on the top, grips on the side, these grips are not only to carry the pilgrims, these grips also were to balance the palki. So when you see that these photographs, you'll see that circle points. So these would be the most stressed points of these palki bearers. And you can see that how it's going to be a very difficulties for them when it's going to be a hairpin thing. So you can't extend that model, you can't extend that particular thing towards to you. So that is also a problem in hairpin. one of them, if it slips, it actually supports them, and other 3 supports them if they slip. So that also comes in the collaboration, in which if there are 4 people and if one trips, the other 3 will be supporting to him. And also this is going to be a very tedious job to maintain that into a rocky terrain or maybe into different terrains. So that is the comprehension part of it. What could be the grassroots innovation which they have already divided themselves? So they have used their GI pipes to carry this thing, and these palkis are super heavy, I would say that, in terms of, because they have used wooden blocks also. There would be extremely number of welding, because at times that has a wearing and tearing of GI pipes, so that has the number of welding points also. So again, it's going to be a tough job. So the checklist: to redesign a palki, that should be lightweight, that be maintenance free, that should be manufactured locally and ensure safety to porters and patrons. Now comes the conception, in which mock-ups, CAD models and prototyping is necessary. We are starting and we are developing ideas, we are developing concepts, and through these concepts you can say that what could be the first prototype and what could be the second prototype from the old palkis. So we are taking inferences from the older grassroots innovation, and we are starting developing our small insights. We are starting our own small crafting prototypes, ideas. So you can see that there are different ideas which also working through this. So these are the conception stage. Then comes the crafting stage. When it comes to a palki, you have to maintain that what would be the center of gravity, and what would be the center of gravity when a person is sitting, or what could be when it's like just being not in use. So there are different iterations, in which there is one iteration where we have kept a seat back also, and we can have a headrest. The problem of using headrest is the porters or maybe the pilgrims, they might sleep by that time. So it's again going to be a tedious job to that. Then again comes the crafting, and also, which is very, very, very important, is FEM analysis. So we have this weight analysis also to maintain that center of gravity. Last comes the connection. When we are done with our connection, when so there would be a comparison between traditional and modified palkis. The description would be the material wise, the traditional palki or the grassroots innovation is the GI pipe and mild steel, whereas the modified has the stainless steel grade. Weight is also reduced from 45 to 65 kgs to 34 kgs. That could be the larger help, or that could be a boon to all these porters. Then comes the longevity, that have a bigger longevity for a long run because it never rusts. Then load carrying capacity also, because it is approved through an FEM analysis, that for 150 kgs through an FE analysis. Aesthetic look is also there because it has a more of modern and elegant look because of its design. Then comes the handling space for porters. They have a special sections for it. They are very spacious in that sense. And the maintenance is also very low when it comes to the modern palkis. So there is also a weight reduction through all these. So this is all techniques which we are going to use, or which is going to be the connection. So this is how a proper connection has been well established between the users and the designers, and this is how a particular thing looks like. So I thank you, and I conclude on this topic that this is the design process and this is the design thinking which we all should follow to have a proper innovation techniques. There is at times a chances that we might miss, or we might create a mishap during the design process. So these design process or these design thinking is very valuable, and their stages and their empathizing to their ideation to the conception stage are very, very necessary. Thank you so much for your kind listening. Thank you.